The vibes are chill. The time is now. Can we actually return to Expedition 33 today and be successful? To say I'm skeptical would be an understatement, but at the same time, I'm trying to be hopeful. All right, I'll give you guys a little bit of background. Many of you have been here all year, but some of you have not. So I want to give you a little bit of background here, okay? I grew up playing turn-based JRPGs, okay? The first one I ever played myself was Final Fantasy IV in the US, which was actually called Final Fantasy II here. But I actually watched my cousin play both Dragon Warrior, which was actually Dragon Quest, but they called it Dragon Warrior here, as well as the original Final Fantasy on NES. So I had seen these, then I started playing them myself, and I loved them. Final Fantasy IV and VI, Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, the Suikoden series, Wild Arms, Secret of Mana, and more. Right? I could keep going on and on about how classic these kind of RPGs were in the 90s and how I grew up. They were a formative part of my gaming, education, essentially. Even at a time when I actually had stopped playing a lot of video games to just focus on competitive Street Fighter playing, and I was traveling all over the country playing against people in tournaments, I still found time once in a while to jump in and play the classic RPGs that I loved. I would emulate them on PC and stuff so I could actually play them. Later, I ended up getting like all the Nintendo DS, 3DS handhelds and playing all the ports that they had on there. So I've always loved classic JRPG style games. And when Expedition 33 was announced, I thought it looked amazing, like the graphics, and the turn-based combat turned me on. I was like, this is exactly what I look for in an RPG. I actually don't like all the action-based RPGs that have been coming out in the last 5 to 10 years. It's like the trend is that it must be an action-based RPG where there's a lot of button mashing and combos. Like, nothing irks me more than a franchise that at one point was something I liked and they've completely transformed it into something for the masses, like Final Fantasy 16, which I thought was like a play school level kindergarten RPG. It was so easy and boring. I hated the game. It was so ridiculously tedious because the gameplay sucked. It was so boring. I'm not even kidding you. Final Fantasy 16, I won entire boss fights not looking at the stream. Literally just on audio cues. I stood there doing the combat and I was looking at chat and I beat the entire bosses never even seeing what happened in the fight. That's how easy that game is. It's just terrible. Okay? So, after all of that, when this game was announced and everything, I was stoked. And when I started playing it, I was blown away. The graphics, the music, the world design, the story that's confusing and hooks you. You want to know what's actually going on in this world, right? There was so much positive about the game. The problem is, my audience, at least pre-Asmongold, was an audience very focused on action. Or, on the flip side of that, hanging out with me and talking. It was either we're talking and having a chill conversation and hangout session, or I'm playing something that's an action-based game. Call of Duty, Street Fighter, Elden Ring / Dark Souls. It has to have that element of action. Anything that's slower paced, turn-based, and with a lot of story, oh my lord. Good luck getting people to show up, engage, or support anything like that. Instead, they just say, oh, it's boring. Why is he playing this? There's so many other games he could be playing. And it's rough. When you're doing streams that can pull in hundreds and hundreds of viewers for action games, and they're doing well, and then you try to play Expedition 33, and you're barely pulling 100 to 150 viewers across both streaming services. I'm not saying that was just YouTube. That was like adding everything together. I was getting like 150 viewers. And the people that would show up would complain that the game was boring and that they wanted anything but the game. And people were just not engaging with it. It was very, very disappointing because I loved it. I was so having a great time playing this game. And it was a nightmare. It got so bad that I couldn't play it as much as I wanted. And it took me a long time to even get through the main story of the game, because every time I played the game, it was like a ghost town. And here's the thing. I get it. Not every game is going to be ultra popular, but I'm a streamer. This is my job. What we're doing right now, this is my employment. This is what I do for a living. So why am I streaming a game no one wants to see? And that was the situation I was faced with. is if I keep playing it, right, people are not going to show up, and that's a dead stream for me when I could be doing something else that everyone wants. And it turned the audience off every time I played the game. Well, we'll be back later. So it was frustrating and disappointing, but because I liked the game so much, I still forced myself to play through the game's main storyline with some optional dungeons. There were a few optional dungeons that we did. But basically what happened was, when we hit Act 3, which is the act where the ending of the game opens up, but then a ton of side content opens up. This is when, is it Esquier? When he can finally start flying. And so you can go to all these areas you couldn't reach before, right? Basically, my audience said, listen, you got to finish this game. We want you to move on to other stuff, and you're streaming this so often, you know, you're 2-3 times a week, and we don't want it. So I ended up squeezing it in when I could or whatever, and I just turboed through the end of the game, and that was it. I literally never touched a single piece of side content in Act 3. There were super bosses all throughout the game. Remember the giant that's in the water? I never beat him. I tried to fight him once, couldn't do it, and I said, I'll come back later, never went back. So there's so much content in this game that happens and unlocks in Act 3, and I never did any of it. So what I did is I kind of said to my audience, here's the deal. Obviously, I got to stream for you what you want, right? I have to. But if ever the situation changes, if ever something would happen to be different, now who knows what that would be? But let's say, for example, I don't know, I have an insanely good week one week this year, or circumstances, you know, changing. The way I see it is, let's come back to it. I don't ever want to say, let's not do it. And that's another thing, too. Like some people in chat just said, well, why didn't you play it off stream for yourself? Well, there's two reasons. Reason number one is I have a very... Oh, hi, Jasper. Jasper Kitty's in here today, but he doesn't know how to make heads or tails of the new office. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Remember, he used to jump on the chair, but now the chair is completely different. Jasper boy. You can jump on my lap if you want. You can come up on my lap. He's just looking at all the new setup. See, he's right here. He's looking at all the new setup. He doesn't know what to do. You want to jump on my lap? You want to come up here and everyone can see you? Come on up. You can jump up here. Everyone wants to see you, buddy. Come on, jump up. It's new. I know everything's new. I know the window's distracting you. Here he is. Here's Jasper Kitty, everybody. I know you guys want to see him. You guys love Jasper Kitty. And you haven't seen him in a couple weeks because of the new office setup, right? Here you go, buddy. Eventually, you can learn you could jump up here, buddy, because this is the table will support you. You could come on the table. I know you never had that before. He's never been able to be supported by the table because it was always two crappy little things. Now it's a real table. He can jump up here on this desk and walk around if he wants, and he didn't know that. He just has to step between everything, but that's fine. He's good at that. Very good. Yes, buddy. I know, new office setup. We all got to get used to it, right? It's going to take a while, but we will. We'll all settle in. You and I. Anyway, so basically, what I said was if the circumstances were ever to change somehow, okay, I would come back to it, but I didn't know what the circumstances would be. Honestly, I didn't know. You know, what would actually cause me to be able to go back to the game. Because, again, oh, that's right. I said there were two reasons why I didn't play it off stream. That's what I was going to get at. Reason number one, look at this guy. Oh, you silly. He's looking at the chair thinking, can I jump on that chair? Because it's a totally new chair now. Reason number one is that I have a very strict policy, okay? And the policy is this, okay? Once I'm out of this office, I'm not gaming. Reason being, I game all day. Like, this is what I do. This is my occupation. Imagine if you were an engineer and all you did was draw diagrams of buildings all day, and then you came home and to relax, you drew diagrams of buildings. Doesn't really work, does it? It basically, your entire existence is one thing. I do as much as I can that when I'm out of this room, I try to unplug from the world of gaming so that way I can truly relax. I try to do stuff with my wife and Jasper Kitty that's not gaming related. Now, sometimes I watch my wife game, but that's a lot different than, say, me doing it, right? So that's the idea, okay? So that's number one. That's why I never play games off stream. Number two, in the case of Expedition 33, this was always a scenario where I hoped for the best, where I hoped that maybe I would get back to it, that maybe there would be a circumstance that would change and I would be able to come back to the game and we would enjoy it together. So I didn't want to play it off stream and spoil it, because that's the thing. I want it to be a true first-time experience with all of you when I play it. I don't want to play it off stream and spoil it for myself. So I've stayed away. I've stayed away from this game since June. The final day I played it was June 12th, and I haven't touched it since. Okay, so because of that, there's a lot of questions about today, quite honestly, that, you know, need to be answered. Like, a question would be, am I even going to be able to jump back into the game after 6 months away and play it at any kind of a feasible level? You know, I'm going to start doing the toughest stuff in the game. I'm at the end game builds of each of the characters, and do I remember any of that? Maybe I won't remember how to even play. It's a very possible concept that I won't. And there's also the fact that basically, I just don't know if we're going to have enough people coming by today for this to be feasible. Like, I want nothing more than to put this into the schedule as part of the regular rotation. If this could be just as successful as the Pokemon playthrough, as Arc Raiders has been doing, you know what I mean? I would love to have this in the rotation till the end of the year, till next year. Let's have it going. Let's go back and do all the stuff I missed, so that way I can truly get a good idea of the game. And is it not true they just released new content and it's super hard? Like, it's meant to be post-endgame. So basically, if I do all the optional content in Act 3, then there's even new stuff they just added to the game that we could do after that. So I would like absolutely nothing more than that. Like, that is what I want of this stream. I want this to be a case study where people would be like, look, it's not just Phil. It's not just the game. Sadly, it was part of the audience, and now we have a better audience for it, right? I hope. All right, I want this to work. But in order for it to work, I need you guys to hang out, to engage, and to support. All right, I do. I need that to happen. I need people to actually be here, to talk and hang out and talk about the game, and to support the stream. And if all three of those things come together, and we truly have a great time together, then I think this is going to work. I want it to work. So let's see how today goes. This very much is a test to see how things go and go from there. All right. Now, here's the good news. There's no goal. It's not like it used to be where, oh, I must hit a certain amount per stream. There is no goal. All right. So we don't have to push and say, we got to hit this. We got to hit this. But obviously, I want this to be doing, you know, in line with the other stuff that I'm doing. It shouldn't be that there's always one stream that I do that I know that stream's going to be a complete dud. You know, I want to have this be in line with everything else. So I hope that happens today. We'll have to see. Right now, we're early, and we've already got almost 200 viewers on YouTube. I'm not looking at the kick attendance right now, but fingers crossed that we'll get good attendance today. We did not have it when I played this game at the end there. So let's see how it goes, okay? And that's true. That's the other thing that people don't realize. When you have your hobby as your job, because gaming used to be my hobby, now it's my job, right? You tend to get burnt out if you do too much of it. Like I said, imagine if I was all day on stream playing games, and then I go off stream and I'm playing games. I would get tired of it, and I don't want to get tired of it. I like gaming so much, I don't want it to be my end-all, be-all of what I do. It was the same back in the day when I was a competitive Street Fighter player. I loved competitive Street Fighter, and I loved traveling and playing in tournaments and competing and winning tournaments and, you know, facing off against people from all over the world. But if I did it too much, I'd get burnt out. And I'd be like, man, I need a break. And I would actually sometimes purposefully step away for a month or two to get away from it, so that if I come back, I feel refreshed. That's why when I'm not on stream, I don't game. It wouldn't make sense for me to be doing it all day, every day. I get burnt out, you see? There you go.